Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Shayna Cersei and I'm so excited to paint with you today. Today we are going to be doing another day in our watercolor journal ideas series, and I am going to be doing a flower, which we've done a bunch of flowers before, but I'm focusing on this great color combination that I love, which is a navy and pink color combination. So navy blue and pink. So I am using some quinacridone magenta, but also I am adding to that quinacridone magenta a little diarylide yellow. So giving it kind of an orangey tone to it with a tiny bit of sap green, like a tiny bit. So it gives it kind of this muted pink tone. It's not like super bright. And I'm also going to use phthalo blue and Payne's gray to make my navy color. There we go. So this beautiful navy. I just love this color combination. I don't know why, it just feels very soothing to me. So those are my colors. I'm going to use different values of those colors. Oh, I am going to do a center to this flower that will probably be in brown. So I'll just pull out a raw umber for that. All right, so let me do, I'm not going to draw anything out. I'm just going to play, and I'm going to create some of these flowers with stems, but the leaves are all going to be in this navy blue color. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a center, which is like this almond half gumdrop shape. I can go in later and add some darker color to give it a little more oomph. And then I'm just going to take my pinky color that I made and add some more water to it. I want this first layer to be light. And I am going to work my way around this flower, knowing it's kind of tilted on its side. So these petals on this side are actually going to be a little flat, and I'm going to go out this way. And these are like shorter and flatter, so foreshortening. So see how it's like a scoop of a cup there? These will make a little bit longer, make their edges a little ragged, I think. And these we're going to bring right to the edge. And then as that's drying, I'm going to make a little bit more of this color. But darker. I'm just going to pop in, ooh, that was a lot. Some color wet on wet towards the center. I'm just going to scoop it out of my brown area a little bit. I'm going to add some darker color to that in a minute. So there we go. We have one kind of top of my flower started. And there's a lot going on here. These are bleeding quite a bit in. I'm just scooping it out and rubbing the excess off. All right, so let's do that again. But like, maybe we'll do it over here and more of a face-on flower. So we'll do a rounded center. I'm going to leave a highlight. I am going to go back and darken the edges of my centers later after they dry a bit to give them the look of, the center is going to be in highlight, so it's going to be lightest. It's going to look like it's pushing towards us, and the edges are going to be darker. They're going to look like they're going away from us, so that rounded look. These are still kind of doing their thing, and I'm going to drop just a little more color in while it's drying. And I'm going to let it dry a little bit more and drop a little more color in. It's just creating a darker color towards the center. But if it's too wet, it all bleeds out and it all just ends up being the same. So I'm just pulling out color towards the edges. I want it to be darkest towards the center. All right, so let's start with a light color over here again. I'm making these kind of wonky. You don't need to be perfect. Sometimes just getting through the shape is the most important part with your color, and not focusing on every little detail. All right, so while those are drying, their first layer, I'm going to go in with this navy color. I'm going to give them stems. Okay, so we're not using any green here. And then I'm going to start to build some leaf structures. My leaf structures are going to be these kind of traditional almond-shaped leaves. I'm going to add some water to this, definitely some more. But they're going to be spaced out like this. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go parallel or like every other one. I guess maybe I'll do parallel for this one. And a lot of people, when they're starting leaves, they forget to leave this little space here, and they butt their leaves right up against the stem. But dragging your brush out just a little bit so there's a tiny thin line, and then pressing down to do your leaf gives it that breathing room, makes them look more natural and more delicate. Like this one's a little thick here. It looks a little, but it's okay. And then same with these, you can drop in more color if you want. And make some darker ones. Beautiful. We'll do one on the other side. And then we're going to come back and do our second layer on our flowers to give them a little more depth, a little more structure. You can see I'm even putting in my little lines first and then just painting a leaf on top of them. That's perfectly acceptable. You don't have to do it all in one stroke. It's just easier on this side for me to do it that way. You do have to get a leaf in like right here. It's going to overlap with this one, which is okay. I'm just going to drop in a few spots. Darker color towards the center. And I'm going to do like one or two little leaves right off the stems here. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. All right, let's let that dry, and then I'll come back and add some more details to really give these some more shape and depth. All right, we're back and everything is dry. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, my size 3 Princeton Select, and we are going to dive back in with some darker color on a few of these areas. So I'm just going to add in some darker color around the base of these petals. And I'm going to blend it out. Just working my way around. The leaves look great. I love them just the way they are. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to them. Now these here, I'm going to make sure I'm not going out too far, because these leaves are these petals are kind of coming towards me, and they're much shorter. All right, so now, well, that's still a little damp. I'm going to take my brown and I'm going to go around the edges, and if it bleeds in a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to, on this one, focus on this bottom edge, because the top, these petals are actually attached behind the top of this. And I'm just going to let that blend out towards the top. There we go. And that gives that now some shape, some roundedness and depth. So same thing with this one on here, except, oh, I have to do the petals first. So these already have quite a bit of darker color. And blend them out a little bit. So when I blend out, I have nothing on my brush. It's just a damp brush. Tiny bit of water on it. Now I'm adding more color to these over here. You can certainly go through with even darker color and add like really fine lines. And let's see, on these I'm even going to take a little bit of that brown. And we're going to go around the edge again. I definitely want it to bleed a little bit into those petals. The trick is to get things to do it just the amount that you want, like not too much. It has to be damp but not super wet. All right, and now I'm going to blend towards the center, towards the highlight. Again, like the shadows pushing that back part away and the highlight pulling that center part forward. And I'm going to take a little Payne's gray, add that to my brown, and just add a few spots of super deep color. There we go, beautiful. All right, there's some fun little pink flowers with navy leaves. I love this color combination. Always fun to paint. You don't have to be too serious about it. You don't have to be too realistic. Just work on things like developing lights and shadows and highlights, with working on your perspective, pushing things further away or closer to the surface. Play with your water control with your leaves. Do you want lots of little petals in your leaves, or do you want them to be more smooth and uniform? So these types of things are always just great practice when working on different watercolor techniques. Pulling out color, so I'm pulling out color right now. When things go a little awry, letting things dry, learning the importance of letting things dry before you add other layers. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this another day of our watercolor journal ideas. I hope you found this one fun and helpful. I love this color combo and I really enjoyed painting with you today. So don't forget to check out the description, like and follow, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and happy painting, y'all.